What up, guys? Welcome to the Binge Eater Podcast. It's your boy, the Donnie, dripping the Pharaoh of flavor, the South Bass. No one calls me that. I really do. Well, actually, Lynch. Lynch. Also, we got here on the ones and twos. You call me Sauce Boss sometimes. And Donnie Ducats holding it down. And we got a guest today, Big Nick.
Here I am.
Nick Goblin. People probably know you mostly as Goblin. That's how I was introduced to you.
Yep.
Yeah, you were fed to me on the YouTube recommended feed. That's how we got Goblin on the podcast. I was fed him by the YouTube recommended feed. And it's interesting because I was surprised. We were surprised that they would feed something to someone that was probably not monetized. And we'll get into that. We'll get into that in a moment. I want to give some breathing room, make sure that we keep some distance from the beginning of this.
You can't get me riled up this early.
Yeah. I got a question. You got a favorite fast food spot?
Where
you're from Chicago, you said,
I
right?
am.
Is that a doxing? Am I allowed to say that?
You could say that. Everyone knows that at this point. I mean, I'm biased to Portillo's for sure. But in terms of like nationwide, like everywhere burger chains, Wendys is kind of fire, and I stand by that.
A gentleman.
I don't like Burger King. I don't really like McDonald's, but I'll take Wendy's like any day. It's solid.
What's your order?
So,
What's your order when you go?
Hey, let's get into the nitty gritty.
Just a number one double with a large fry and a Dr. Pepper. And
I'm back on that tip, by the way. I've been doing Dave's Juicy. I've been back with a single Dave's Juicy. Like, I'm not like the Baconator's Big Bacon Classic. Did it for decades. Now I'm just like, what's up with Dave's Juicy?
With the onion and the lettuce to make like that's simple.
I grew out of the Baconator. I mean, I feel like I got that a lot when I was younger, but I don't want that much bacon anymore,
Yeah. The Baconator is funny because it's a burger that you get and it's like, the patties and the cheese and the bacon, and then they're just like, and ketchup. Mad ketchup.
Yep. Yeah, that shit is sloppy.
Ketchup
You're
on a
speaking my
Baconator.
language.
I love ketchup on a burger too, but like the Baconator's like mad ketchup.
Yep.
Mad ketchup on bacon.
Wet.
When I was one of the first jobs, that Baconator gets me wet too. I was I went for an interview at Wendys, and the only thing that I retained from it was red, white, green, and that was they when you make their
that's
burgers,
the Palestinian flag.
Big shout outs. What are your thoughts on Palestine? Goblin? No, actually, put that on hold. We're gonna talk about that. I want to put that on the back burner for a second.
Okay.
Red, white, green was ketchup, mayonnaise, pickles.
Yep.
Tomatoes, onions, lettuce.
Yeah.
And now, just because I knew that one time, I didn't get hired and I remember why I didn't get hired. I had sideburns at the time. Way past the point that I should have had sideburns. And they were like, oh, if you work here, you're going to have to shave your sideburns off. And I really went, oh, really?
They try to make you shave your sideburns?
Yeah.
Damn,
What's the distance of these sideburns from
Exactly.
Your, down
they
to
must have been pretty crazy if they were like immediately like, yeah, you got to shave that.
Once your sideburn is at the bottom of your earlobe, it is instantly a sideburn, and it is crazy.
Well, so it's fun. That's exactly the sideburn. I also rocked sideburns for way too long.
Yeah, you do have sideburns. You just also have a beard, so your sideburns are lucky that we don't see them right now.
If I had to shave this beard, I'd have no idea where to stop. Because I haven't stopped since like 2009. So my level is uncharted right now. But I had him right at the bottom of my ear. And this girl was like, you work at McDonald's, eh? And I was like, no, why? She's like, oh, because your sideburns are like flush with your earlobe, and that's the rule. Because I work at McDonald's, so I figured you do too. And I was like,
what?
No.
I didn't know that. You've been sitting on that. McDonald's is like, yeah, we like our employees to have a sideburn right to the bottom of the earlobe.
Dude,
like
I had to wait. I had to wait till episode. I had to wait till episode 39 to bust out that tasty nugget.
That's some deep knowledge.
Well, I didn't get hired by Wendys because when he was, you got to shave your sideburns. I was pretty ugly about it. I was like, wow, really? And when I thought back, I was like, why wouldn't I get hired? Everyone else in line was kind of, if you know what I mean. And I was surprised that they all murked me. They all probably got hired laughing and flipping burgers, and I didn't. But I still look back every time I get Wendys. I'm always like, did they do red, white, green? And they do. And Wendys, especially in Canada, by the way, very consistent. We hype it up a lot. Just proud of you that you backed it.
Dr. Pepper is also a gentleman's choice. I'm big Dr. Pepper here.
Same.
Thank you for saying that. That's honestly, it's the best soda. And it's funny you're talking about working at Wendys because that was my first job too. So I back when I was like 16, I got hired at Wendys and I only worked there for like 2 months because I ended up just like no showing my last couple shifts because I was just like, it was summer break. I was lazy. I was too busy getting high. But, I would show up for work every now and then. They'd only give me 20 hours a week. So if they gave me any more, I'm not going. It was a fun time, though. It was a fun job. I'd say the only bad part was like the bathroom cleaning because they had me on cashier. So I never had to do any of the red, white, blue. They had some of the hardest working Mexican dudes I'd ever met on the grill. So I never had to touch the red, white, blue, any of the burgers. I was just cashing people out and all that shit. So it was a great job, honestly. It was a fun time. You should have got the gig.
I wish I did, but the thing is, my sister worked at Wendy's, and when she would come home, like I love Wendy's, but the clothes.
Oh, you stink.
Yeah, it's a different smell. It's not like delicious at all.
No,
like
it's like just
terrible,
the grease.
Terrible stench.
It's like you take just the grease with you and you leave all the good parts back at the restaurant.
Would you say it's worse than like post epic meal? Like when we, like 100-pound burger or something like that.
Well, no, that's not
rough.
fair. Yeah.
Well, you are serving up like the equivalent of one giant burger. And
like one night at Wendy's.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I guess the shirt and stuff is exposed to just as much.
Yeah, like after an epic meal, like the clothes might be garbage.
I got so I got these lime green running shorts on, and Donnie came in and was just clowning my threads. And you know what? I actually bought some new clothes. I'm wearing a hat too, a new hat, because people were always like, take that garbage green hat off you've worn for like 2 years. And that is what is pretty ugly, is like I could look back on the last 15 years of YouTube and really be like, it's the Mortal Kombat hat era, which was a bad one because I think I had a
big
cassette.
Buckle.
Yeah, cassette was my belt buckle.
Yeah, and the American Apparel zip ups.
But yeah, so I just want to know, like, Goblin, what's your drip scenario? Did you get summer clothes?
Show us your belt buckle.
let me tell you, my outfits entirely depend on a couple years ago I used to care a lot about clothes. I would buy nice clothes, I'd buy like cool designer shoes, Balenciaga shoes, Amiri shoes, that kind of stuff. But the actual clothing part, I've always just kind of gotten whatever sponsors give me. So I'll get emails from companies who'll be like, yo, we want to send you a gift bag. And I'll be like, yo, throw in a fucking hoodie, throw in a shirt. This right here.
Throw in a hoodie.
I don't want to do laundry. Right, throw in some underwear and socks.
This is a sponsor company right here. All of my like shirts and hoodies are just like free shit I get in the mail. I was like, well, why the hell would I buy clothes? I'll just be like a walking fucking ad.
It's like you're like Garth.
Typically.
Yeah. It's great, dude. So I mean, nowadays I just wear this kind of shit paired with like I got some like joggers on right now, the socks chilling. I got these at Costco, great.
Oh yeah, Costco.
Yeah,
dude, I'm Costco from the waist down now. Socks, underwear, pants.
Oh my god, dude! You
everything.
get like a 30 pack of socks for like the low. It's ridiculous. I love it.
Dude. I want to back up a little bit there. Talking about that Amiri era of your life. I want to know. Let me make a little. Were you like coked out?
Oh
like,
yeah,
threaded up in a
yeah. So I
cosplaying Tim Dillon.
Pretty much. I mean, I've been sober off all the nose drugs and that fun stuff for going on 2 years now.
Hell yeah,
but yeah, it's been fun for sure. It's nice being sober. The weed gets me higher, so it's fucking great. But back then, like 2-3 years ago, I was doing hella cocaine, and I would do the most impulsive shit ever. Like I would buy the dumbest fucking things, dude. And clothes were a big part of that. So I still have a lot of those old pairs of shoes and shit. Where I would buy like Amiris, I would buy Balenciagas, I would like go gamble, and I'd put like $1,000 on roulette, and I'd be like, yo, if this hits, we're buying 2 fucking pairs of shoes and we're going home, and if it doesn't hit, try again in a few days, like fuck. So I would just do really stupid shit like that. And
I would do this. Side note, I'd buy like maybe like all the Power Rangers 12-inch like collectible figures, even the exclusive pack with the Green Ranger.
Yeah, I see.
By the way, everything I say is part of an interactive art experience. I'm playing a character, but as a character on a baggie, buying all the Power Rangers as a doll, that's like very small peepee energy to like gambling and getting fucking 2 pairs of shoes. And
yeah, I mean, I lost most of the time, which is why I only got a handful of pairs of shoes. You know? Sometimes I would just go fuck around and buy shit like
next
that.
time you get a sponsor, like send some shoes too.
I always do that. You know, I try to get as much like free, you know, you got to collect the influencer perks. You really do. You got to capitalize on them. So whenever I can get any type of free shit, there was some Chinese company that hit me up and they offered me some sort of like workout bike. You know, it was like, I've never made fitness content in my goddamn life. I don't go to the fucking gym. I get high and eat fucking garbage every day.
Hell yeah.
You know,
baby.
They're definitely trying to harvest your fucking DNA from this thing.
Yeah,
they're like, yeah, just sit on it. It's gonna like
put your fingerprint in, you know, enter your social real quick. Put your debit card
Wait, you got it though, right?
No, so I emailed them and I sent them my shipping info and they were like, hey, we're going to send it and everything. And they sent me some tracking number that I just like for the life of me could not find any information on. They were like, oh yeah, track you through like this website. And it was some crazy ass like Chinese like website that I couldn't even access. So I was just kind of like, fuck it, maybe it'll show up at some point. And that was like going on 8 months ago. So I don't think it's coming.
Did they ever hit you up like, did you get the bike?
I emailed them back one more time because they didn't pay me or anything. They just like sent me the bike and they were like, hey, post about it. You know?
You know what, man? 8 months. I think I'm not even joking. I think it's still in contention. Soon. Yeah, I think
it might be coming soon. Yeah,
because if it came by boat, like that might take months to get there, and then it might get stuck in customs for another couple of months. Like it might be there in the morning, dude. Like what the fuck? we're gonna have to like put an amendment to this.
Yeah, notify us, and guys will notify you if you're listening. We'll let you know if that bike ever comes through. Yeah.
Hey. Whoever moves into my place after me, because my lease ends in a month and a half, the bike is theirs. They can enjoy it. They can get their info harvested from that. I'm out of there.
Are you familiar with King Ice?
I am not.
Lynch, you wanna tell us about because I'm not familiar with King Ice, and King Ice sounds like something like Lynch you would know.
King Ice.
Oh, it was just a 7-Eleven King Ice collabo thing I sent here.
No. They're just it's just like 7-Eleven's getting in the chain game. You know, $2,500 if you want to get a custom.
They're doing
7-Eleven
what?
Chain.
Yeah, they're
like jewelry.
Yeah, jewelry.
Yeah,
if you want to get some 7-Eleven jewelry, if you want to get like a Slurpee cup, and I was like, I'm not mad at it. Like does it top the Hot Pocket shorts? I'm not sure.
Is it fire?
No, this is beyond.
If you
that.
click
this
the everything thing there, the everyone, and I just put a link, you can click on that.
These are the cheaper versions you can get.
It's like a Slurpee.
I'm not gonna lie,
chain.
I was intrigued. I was intrigued.
Yeah, see, we've been a little obsessed with the fact that a lot of fast food spots have been getting in this like hype beast lane.
Oh, it's fake, though. I thought it would be real.
No. They have one that's plated for $2,500, so it's like gold plated or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, you can get it, and I was like, that's actually kind of. Like, I might buy that. I would consider.
You're not wearing your McDonald's drip right now, are you?
No. My McDonald's had to tuck that away. It's in the wash right now.
This is what I would describe this as ghetto fabulous. That's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at ghetto fabulous.
Fabulously ghetto.
I'm rocking a chain right now. I'm rocking a chain right now. I'd drop a little 7-Eleven pendant on there. Why not?
The 7-Eleven chain
for a few reasons why.
Yeah, the 7-Eleven one is it's just so funny, you know. And you know, you mentioned Costco before, and Donnie saying that you're waist down Costco.
Oh yeah,
it's interesting because like I saw a guy wearing a Kirkland t-shirt. But instead of just being a white Kirkland t-shirt, it was proudly a Kirkland.
Yeah, with the big logo.
And I was like staring at it.
Him.
Yeah, and I felt stupid. I was like, "Where'd you get this?" He's like, "Costco," and I was like, "Of course, of course you did." But like, I was like thinking like someone selling like Costco shirts because that's like as if Costco wasn't just a fucking place that sells shirts, but we're such consumers these days. Like it used to be
Yep.
like back in the day, it was like if your song was used in a car commercial, you know, you were like a sellout. Now people have like Disney tattoos, and Disney owns our entire childhood.
On their
And we're
face.
just like consume. And I'm a big consumer. And so I was at the 7-Eleven headquarters. I was pitching a beef jerky years ago, and I was at and they had 7-Eleven merch. I bought this years ago. They had a 7-Eleven hat, and I was just like, I was like, this is sick. Where else would I get a 7-Eleven hat? And like I thought about like, yep, not even like a big deal, but just big on consuming and brands. And isn't it fucked up?
Yeah, it sounds. I'm not like it sounds awful.
You're a big consumer too.
I get the Costco one. I mean,
I wouldn't say that I am.
I'm
what
sure.
do you mean, bro? I see you. You see like Fjall Raven shit, and you're like, I've been with you at the Fjall Raven store.
Yeah, but that shit will last 20 years, whereas a fast fashion 7-Eleven
so he's a
hat.
good consumer.
That's the marketing getting to you.
Dude,
He's a good consumer over here, and I'm a
they
bad
use-
consumer.
They use non-toxic dyes, and they use all kinds of special shit in their manufacturing. That fast fashion H&M stuff, that's what's
Okay,
fucking-
but what's up with Disney though? You know how many? What about Avatar? You know how many jobs James Cameron gave people, and that
Dude,
art.
I didn't
is
even
gonna
watch
last.
the fucking new one, or it's not even new anymore. I didn't watch the second one.
Oh, you Goblin, what kind of entertainment do you consume? Do you play video games?
I do. I play probably more video games than I do like any other form of media. I get real degenerate with it. I play a lot of RuneScape. I used to play a lot of Call of Duty. I kind of stopped playing that though because
What'd you play today?
RuneScape only so far. I've been busy today, honestly. I haven't really been gaming much. I have like a super fuck sleep schedule where I'm not out of bed till like 3 p.m. anyways.
Hell yeah.
So
I convince
So
myself
jealous.
every day that I thrive at night and flourish at night.
Yep,
And
yep.
then I sit there back to back doobies for like 3 to 4 a.m. like
Yep.
Diablo 4. Like, and I'm like, I'm being productive right now. No one's ringing my phone. I'm getting shit done. I've
Yep.
literally leveled up 8 levels. Like, we are
Yep.
good.
I just stopped playing Diablo 4 actually. I liked it, but I don't know. I feel like Diablo 3 was a little better.
Didn't have
know?
Diablo 4. I think is better, and I'm enjoying it more. But I don't
Yep.
think I'm gonna play it as long as I did Diablo 3. Diablo 3 had this something that made me want to play it longer.
I think
Like,
the
I had
loot
more
gets
hours
better.
in it. Yeah, maybe there was like a lot more. I don't know what it was like, and I don't even like that aspect of like the like RNG. Like, am I gonna get this thing
Yeah.
for pressing that button? I've been playing a lot of that Aliens game, Dark Descent. It's
Oh,
like,
that new one.
yeah, I really like it. I thought it was going to be shitty, but I got a Steam Deck. And to everyone listening, if you got the money and you've been thinking
Oh.
about it, if you have a Steam library, you have to not sleep on this damn thing.
So good.
It's the
So
fucking
good.
best.
So
you know,
good.
you want to know everyone how good it is? I love Breath of the Wild, and Tears of the Kingdom is still in the wrapper because I'm finally going through those games on my Steam that I bought in like fucking 2015 in a Humble Bundle. And that's what I've been playing. Like, and imagine like Max Payne 3, you know, back in the day, like I played it and I kind of at the time didn't really like it. And
Yep.
I booted it back up on my Steam Deck and I had a great time playing it. It was straightforward, just like a shooting game, Max Payne bitching the whole time. And
Yep.
like, that was fun. But if I sat down at my desktop computer in 2023 and started playing Max Payne 3, it'd be like, what the fuck is wrong with you, bro?
Yeah.
But if you sit down and you're on your Steam Deck, you're going to start touching all these games that you were like, if you sat at your computer and played, you're fucking, honestly, you're shit. But if you play it on your Steam Deck, completely different experience. And I don't know, how long have you had yours?
I got mine like right after release. I got pretty lucky. I pre-ordered like early into it and I got the pre-order. I love it, dude. And you're right about the part where like I play games I would never play on my like desktop. I would never sit down and play half the games that I play on there. But it's great, dude. Like when I travel, it's a full on computer, dude. I mean, you can do pretty much everything you can do on a normal PC on there. You can hook a mouse and keyboard up to that shit, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, if I really wanted to, I could edit a video off that thing, you know? I could upload, I could make a thumbnail, that kind of stuff. So it's badass,
I
honestly.
didn't know all that.
Yeah,
It's
it's really
a full
crazy.
computer. It's you know, it's a lot more than just the, you know, like what the Switch does, where it just plays games. It can do everything your computer can do.
How much is a Steam Deck, Doc? Dick.
The base one is like 400, and then the top end one is 650.
USD.
Yep.
Yeah.
Not bad. Not bad.
Yeah.
USD. I don't know what it is in CAD.
It's not for us, Donnie.
No, it's like I mean, I probably wouldn't drop the money on it, but if I was ever gonna get one thing, it would probably be that.
No, because
I'm dying here.
the best thing is like you don't have like when you have like a computer library, that would be the real thing. Like if you were gonna do it, if you wanted a handheld thing, I'd be like, hold up. What I would recommend for you, Donnie, is they have these handhelds now, and I only know this because I was playing the Steam Deck so much and watching Steam Deck videos. They have these like handhelds that are like $150, and they have like a little OLED screen, and they're packed with all the video games up until like GameCube, Xbox, PS2. And so you can play like all of those games. You pull up like rival schools, whatever. It's like all like built into these handhelds, and they're like excellent emulators. And
it's a little bit old at this point, but
yeah, but I'm assuming like where are you playing it? You know, like you're not really a gamer, bro. I don't know how to tell you this. Like you're not. It's not how you used to be. Yeah, Donnie and I played a lot of online back in the day.
a lot of Halo.
Oh hell yeah!
Yeah,
A lot of Halo, a lot of Ghost Recon.
Yeah,
That game.
A
Was
lot
fire.
of Splinter Cell. Fucking so much Spies vs. Mercs. That was the best shit that ever. I think that's the best thing that ever happened to me.
Wait, but I don't know if you've ever touched that though. I feel like there's a bit of a. How old are you? Are you 25?
I'm 24.
24. Yeah, I don't know if you ever fucked with Splinter Cell, the Spies vs. Mercs.
I played Splinter Cell Conviction, but I didn't play the ones before that because I was too young for that. But I remember playing like the first like FPS games I really got into when I was a kid, even before Call of Duty, was the old Rainbow Six Vegas games.
Yeah.
I played Rainbow Six Vegas 1 and 2, and I used to sit there and play Terrorist Hunt all day, and I was so fucking bad, but it was so fun.
You weren't bad. It was hard.
It was
Yeah,
hard.
it was hard.
Dude. Like
It was definitely hard.
Really hard.
We would play Terrorist Hunt like all four of us. That was one of the first games. You had the Xbox camera. You could take a picture of your face and put your weird fucking face on like this ball. That was the head. So your face was all like smeared across it. But yeah.
Dude,
that was hard.
Those were the days.
The trashiest memory I have of my Xbox is remember what I made my ex-girlfriend do for my like gamer photo? I had my girlfriend. I was like, all right, on your knees, shirt off, hold your tits up, and like I took like a picture like where you couldn't, because I knew it was going to be a tiny Xbox picture on the screen, so I was like, no one's actually going to be able to see it. No one's actually going to be able to see it. So I took like you couldn't actually see anything, even if you could see it, but it was like
but I pressed my nose up against my monitor and nutted, bro.
That's it. Like you weren't gonna.
My eyeball was like right at that at your display pic there.
It was not a photo you'd want on social media.
You pulled up the monocle for that one.
Yeah, but I was like, it's gonna be tiny. It's gonna be hilarious.
Where you based out of?
Chicago.
Yes, sir. Chicago.
You ever have Pequods pizza?
I have, dude. Pequods is very good. I don't support a lot of the big chain places. Like Giordano's sucks. Lou's is good though. Lou Malnati's is very good.
Well, so you're dropping some shit on me. Like maybe I gave you the wrong impression. Like I know places when I said Pequods.
Oh, Pequods is like Pequods is one where like I feel like if you know that, like you got to know Chicago pizza. You know,
that's so crazy. You want to know? Listen, I've been.
That's
doing
not a surface level pizza joint.
I found this out. That's what's so crazy, and it's funny.
Like one,
it's
TikTok.
it's not a surface level pizza joint. He's right, because I ask a lot of people when they're from Chicago, and not everyone knows.
Yeah.
And when I went to Pequods, there was a 3-hour line.
Yeah.
There was a 3-hour line. I went to the front and I was like, oh yeah, table for 4. And they were like, oh yeah, here's a little beeper and there's a movie theater across the street. And I was like, oh, why do I need to know that? And they're like, oh, because the line's gonna be 3 hours. And I was like, what? And then I went to the front of the line and I was like, I saw there was 4 people there. And I said, can I have your spot in line? I'll give you $100. And they were like, no. And I had a camera, so I was like, oh, tax write off this shit. I was like, I'll give you $200. And they were like, No, and I was like,
Well, no, the guy's
wait, but at 250, the guys were like, and then the girlfriend to the guy was like,
no.
"You said that we're gonna get Pequods," and that's why Andrew Tate, personally, in my opinion, no. So like, they didn't do it. Yeah, then he was like, "I can't do it." I was like, "Okay." So we waited for 3 hours. It ended up being like an hour and 45 minutes or so.
It was faster.
Yeah. And when we got there and we got into the Pequods, they were just getting their food, putting it down, and we were being led to the table. And I was like, and the reason why I went to Pequods is I've been doing this food shit on the internet for so long, and people are always like, they'll watch it and they'll be like, that makes me so hungry. And because I'm like, I was editing like the first 100 videos, like it didn't make me hungry. It was like Monday morning work. So watching food stuff didn't really appetize me because I would think of like the day on set that they must have had. And then I got fed an ad for Pequods randomly once, and it was a guy, and he sucked. And he went to Pequods, and I think he even dropped the slice, but he went there and he ordered pizza, and it was just like a nonsense food video, like, you know, a person can promote their video and get it through an ad. And I was looking at the pizza and I was like, this looks fucking good. Yeah. And for the first time, I was like, if I'm ever in Chicago, I have to go to Pequods, and Lynch will attest to it. I was like, we got to Chicago. It wasn't even close. And I was like, we have to go. I was like, I never make a mission like this. We have to go. And when I was asking people, I was like, you know, about Pequods, they're like, no. And I'm like, is it not a chill place? And I didn't think it was going to be chill, but I believed in my heart. And when I pulled up to Pequods and there was a 3-hour lineup, I was like, I'll wait 5 hours now. I'll pay $250 to cut the line.
I was sold by the name. I'm like,
it's legit. It is super legit. It's honestly probably the best deep dish in Chicago.
Really? It's my favorite pizza.
And
it bothers a lot of people. It bothers a lot of people when they ask me what my favorite pizza is, and I say a Chicago pizza.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's a fucking cake. It's a fucking lasagna. It's not a fucking pizza. Am I allowed to do that, by the way?
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, probably. But people don't count it as pizza. You're right. And they should.
Yeah.
They should.
We way over ordered too. I think we had like 4 pizzas or 5 pizzas for 3 people.
Fuck.
Yeah, we got like 4 or 5.
I didn't know.
2 pizzas in. 2 pizzas in. We're like, I don't know, man. This is a lot.
I know that moment too, when the pizzas come all at the same time. So you're sitting there and you see like they bring out 2 extra waiters,
but this is
like drop all these pizzas, and you're like, okay,
this is our illness though. This is the illness that exists when we're traveling Epic Mealtime. So you got to go. We go to the restaurant, and it's the entire menu ends up getting ordered every time.
See, we've discussed
it's a bunch of guys.
I like the entire menu vibe. But like, I don't know, pizza is especially damaging. Like, you could get the entire menu because that's gonna have a few like salads.
Last time Donnie and I,
you can rip
Donnie and I did whole menu last time we ate together. We went into a restaurant. It was like a place, like a butcher bakery during the day, fancy restaurant type thing in the evening, and they brought out like the paper. And it was like, fucking shit.
Yeah, there's like 11 things on it.
You're like, okay, pear showed up twice at dinner time, you know, and we were just like, you know what, bring us all of it. We added the numbers. Yeah, we added the numbers instead of looking at the food. We're like, we could do this. Let's bring it. It wasn't crazy.
It's kind of fun to do, honestly.
It is. It takes the guessing work out of it too. You're like, we will eat it all.
Yeah, and you're in the U.S., dude. You don't really get to partake.
Have you been?
A whole fucking book. We're talking. We get like, you get a menu here. It's a paper, and there's like 7-8 things on it. Like Cheesecake Factory's a novel.
Have you been to Canada before?
No, I haven't actually.
Oh wow.
I've never left the country. I don't have a passport. For a while, I wasn't eligible to get one.
But you are now.
Huge red flag.
I am now. Yeah, that is actually.
You got your record.
You have a girlfriend?
I did. I do. Yeah.
You have a girlfriend?
I do.
She doesn't think it's an ick that you don't have a passport?
No, I mean, she keeps telling me all the time. She's like, get a fucking passport. And I'm like, yeah,
it feels very American to not have a passport. It's like,
because we got enough here. We're good. We got enough. I would. It's like, where do you want to go? You want to leave the country? This is the best.
I'm like, dude, we got weed, we got guns, we can do whatever the fuck we want. Where are we going?
I mean, weed, I think, is a little more illegal out in Canada. I mean, you can go to any province now and Just pick it up.
You could go to any province and get reefer.
You can go to Vancouver and buy Coke. You can buy a gram of Coke
No, you
from
can't
the
do that.
Prime Minister.
No, we're wrong. Remember, we were wrong about that. We thought
Yeah,
we
well, they opened up a mushroom store in Montreal yesterday,
Oh,
and the
sorry.
cops
Got
were first in
busted.
line, and they
Yeah.
ripped all the signage down, and
Oh, they did that, or they already busted? They already took the
Yeah, it got
instantly.
because they got warned before they even opened, and then they opened anyways. It was more symbolic.
Yeah.
See,
But that's how it worked. It was the same thing with weed in the beginning. It was kind
no,
of
they let
gray
people get
market.
away with the cannabis in Canada. I feel like
At
there's a real
first,
gray
no.
area for a
At
long
first, they arrested them. The very first
man.
people were getting taken down, and then it just became so regularized.
They
And
probably made so much money in those early days before it became like run by the government.
that's when they were still checking fucking medical papers and shit.
You having the doctors calling?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
oh yeah, let me FaceTime this doctor.
Yeah, you just get a little prescription.
make sure you're good.
I feel like it's easy to get a medical card everywhere is legal. Like the doctors just make it so simple. I mean, when I had to get rid of my medical card, but when I had it for a couple years, and I just literally I did a 2-minute phone call. The guy called me. He was like, "What's your problem?" I was like, "I can't sleep." He was like, "Insomnia?" And I was like, "Yeah." And I don't fucking have insomnia. And he was like, "All right, I got you. You'll get an email in 20 minutes." And it was an email with just a fucking payment link. And after that, I got my the paperwork I needed, and I got my medical card the same day. Like, it's so easy.
It's
dude.
fun. You know, you're
It's
kind of like
great.
me because you're like, yeah, no, I don't have insomnia. And me too. I'd be like, I don't have insomnia. We stay up late because we're playing RuneScape
Yep.
on purpose.
Yeah.
Insomnia is like, you're actually trying. No, I'm not even trying. Like in my
Yep.
case, it's not RuneScape, but like people were like, oh yeah, he's an insomniac. I'd be like, no, I'm not. I'm literally doing this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like, I've
I'm
never even
actively
tried.
doing-
to
wanted-
sleep.
yeah.
I'm choosing to stay up.
You're
Right
fighting
now.
it. Yeah, you're chasing the night every night.
What's so crazy is getting FOMO of nothing. That's next level, and that's me all the time. Like I can't go to sleep now. I'm gonna miss like 4 hours of doing fuck all
You're like,
with no
you're like,
bother.
you're like, I gotta watch another 3-hour YouTube breakdown of this drama right now.
Like I love that. I watched last one I watched was like Destiny versus Zerka, Sneeko, and who else?
Yeah, I
the
saw
boy,
that.
the boy that doesn't fuck, the one that hates. But the my recommended feed is so dirty. If you pulled up your recommended feed, Goblin, what do you got there? What you got on your YouTube?
Probably.
feed? Do you watch a lot of YouTube?
I do. I watch a fair amount. Probably just a lot of video game content and maybe some music. I watch like live stream highlight clips while I'm playing games. That's really the only time I watch YouTube. Other than that, it's like documentary style videos about either like plane crashes, or I've been watching this channel called Defunct Land.
Oh, I love that.
I fucking love that channel, dude. It's so interesting how he can make an hour and a half, 2-hour long video about a Disney ride.
Yeah.
You know, like
did you see the Nickelodeon hotel one?
I did. Yeah, I watched that the other day. The first one I saw was the Fast Pass one. That's what like got me into the
Oh yeah, I
channel.
love that. That's a great episode.
Yeah,
also.
crazy video.
The Nickelodeon one, what's interesting is I was sitting there watching it, and they're talking about the hotel, and I'm like, oh, you know, this hotel, and they're just showing the SpongeBob room, and like the lobby had this movie theater and like food court,
Yeah.
and it was like all to try and push you to like go to like their Nickelodeon land that they wanted to do, and it was going to be near Disney, and it was like Nickelodeon hotel. And I'm watching the thing for like 30 minutes, and they get to this point where they show the pool, and the pool is unmistakable. There's a gigantic bucket that dumps
Yep.
water, and there's a whole like structure there, and it's inside the inside courtyard of the hotel because it's all facing inwards.
Mhm.
And at this moment I realized I've stayed at this hotel,
Really?
but it's just a regular hotel now. And I didn't know it was ever a Nickelodeon hotel, which made it so fucking weird because I was
Yeah.
at this hotel and you'd be like
It's
walking
like a
to
fluorescent carpet under the carpet.
No, it is the carpet. You were like, why does this hotel have a lime green carpet with orange walls?
Yeah.
There would be rooms I'd walk into and I'd be like, is this room fucked up or is it just me? And
You got slimed on the way in.
I went to like go to like my nephew was playing like the arcade thing. So, you know, regular hotels have arcades. So I'm walking to the arcade and I walk through a food court with no food, no booths, except one spot that's a pizza place. And the pizza they're serving is a different name from the name above it. And I was just like, that's fucked up. And I walked by a movie theater and I was like, that's fucked up. I was like, they really thought people were going to be eating and watching movies here and the walls are green and the carpet's fucking orange. Like, what is going on? And then I watched that thing and like, it was like, oh, everything makes sense.
That's so fucking
It was even the hotel room like that we were in. I stayed with my family. Like my nephew was in the room with like a bunk bed. And I was like, hotel with a bunk bed. So random. But I was at the Nickelodeon. I was in the fucking rotten carcass of a Nickelodeon hotel. That's where I stayed.
Did they still have the big bucket out back?
Yeah, they did. Cool. Functional.
Oh, that's
still functional.
Yeah.
Dude, I stayed in a hotel last summer just randomly. Like I went with a buddy. We went on.
Sounds like you guys fucked. Sorry, continue.
No, it really does. We went on like a 10-day canoe trip with a bunch of people, and then on the way
that's
back,
a bunch of people.
The room was just us two. The room was just us two. On the way back, instead of going straight home, we went to Ottawa to watch Louis C.K.
Yeah, you ain't going straight home, right? Sorry,
we were not straight for a second of it. And we went to this hotel, just like a decent hotel downtown, but it looked like a fucking bowling alley. Like it was just purple and blue kind of stripes with bubble kind of graphics around.
Like Laser Questy almost.
Like Laser
Quest pizza room.
Yeah, it was like a laser tag bowling, cosmic bowling fucking place, but it was a hotel. And everything was purple, blue, and white.
But could you bowl?
Sounds like the type of hotel where you were booking a room with a dude. You'd be like,
$30.
Where's a hotel that we're no chance we're running into anybody we know?
Fuck, I don't know.
Those are the fun kind of hotels, though. I mean, they just bought a bowling alley and threw some walls up in that bitch.
Yeah,
called it a day. I mean,
there's that one in Toronto that was a bank, and the safe is still there. You like walk into the safe to go to your elevators up to your room. It's pretty neat.
That's awesome.
Phone
That's
does
cool
not
shit.
work in there.
Yeah. How familiar are you with butter chicken?
Not extremely familiar.
You
I
never
would
had
say.
butter chicken?
Butter chicken, like the Indian dish.
Yeah, Indian dish.
I've had it a few times. There's a lot of Indian joints in my area, but I'm not
Nice.
like crazy about Indian food. It makes me shit like super bad.
You know, actually,
So-
it's you that makes you shit. By the way.
Really? Well, yeah. Yeah, it encourages me to, I guess.
Yeah.
It's just that little spark. Yeah.
Yeah.
What makes me shit? I don't really have a food.
Not
that-
Indian food. I eat a lot of Indian food, and like it sits quite well.
Me, it's just more like, what am I doing that week? Like, I got some weeks that I'm like, it's not right. It's just not right. I should stop doing this or that. But the reason why I brought it up is because there's a butter chicken burger at Burger King in Canada.
Oh.
That's
Yeah.
why I led in with Toronto.
So if
by
you
the
ever
way.
were gonna visit, now you have a fucking terrible reason.
Now you get our
great
specialty
reason to
burgers.
come to Canada. Wow.
I actually said this to Lynch. I just don't imagine, because like when Lynch first told me, but I was like, huh, interesting. And then you had said it was Canada. I was like, that makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
There was like,
It's not for
like
the US.
I've seen
It's
more Indian
un-American.
restaurants like in Canada, like Toronto, than I've seen in all of the USA. Like I rarely come across, in your neighborhood, you said there's a whole bunch.
Yeah,
But,
there's a good amount, but they're not common everywhere for sure.
Mhm. And they got a
Not at
poutine
all.
with butter chicken sauce. You ever had a poutine, by the way?
I have. Poutine is fire.
Yeah.
Poutine is very fire.
You ever have disco fries?
What is that?
I've just heard it.
Fries with cocaine on them.
There we go, dude.
Well, in that case,
Sounds like,
yes.
sounds like a bad
Yeah,
mix.
yeah. I'm
No,
down
they
for
had.
that.
Yeah, they had.
Goblin, you mentioned,
Cocaine mayo.
you mentioned that you said you stopped sniffing stuff like 2 years ago. What?
Yeah.
How does
Yeah.
that feel? Like
It's good,
He
man.
just boofs it
it's
now.
Like what prompted that change in course for you?
I had I had just kind of gotten to a point where I was doing too much and like not really enjoying it anymore. Like I was more so just doing it because I wake up every day and be like, fuck, I'm fiending,
Yeah.
So I kind of gotten to the point where it just stopped being fun, and it was really fucking hard at first. I flushed that shit down the toilet, and part of the thing that I did is I was like, yo, I'm gonna just go like announce it on a podcast. Then like if I keep doing it, people are gonna be pissed as fuck, So I went on one of my friends' podcasts and I like announced it there, and then I was like, all right, dude, like if I don't quit, like people are gonna be mad as fuck at me. So it kind of helped me stay straight with it a lot. And it was something where like I didn't really think I was ever gonna quit. It just kind of like hit me really suddenly. You know, there was one specific incident I remember where I had just gotten really geeked up. It was like 2 p.m. You know, I had been up all night the night before, and my heart was just thumping. You know, I was having the craziest fucking heart palpitations. I was like cold sweating and shit, and I was really paranoid. And I didn't realize at the time that coke made me so paranoid, but I would just trip out about the smallest shit, and my heart was pumping, and I thought like, my heart was racing so fast, I just thought I was about to like die, bro. I was like, yo, am I about to have a heart attack off this shit? I'm geeking. And then I would come down, and then I would like do another bump, and then the same thing would happen again. And I was just sitting there like, yo, like what the fuck is wrong with me? You know? And after that day, I just quit, you know. I kept smoking weed, you know, I kept taking shrooms. I'm California sober, I like to say.
Oh yeah.
So I still do the fun stuff, but I stay away from the stuff that has like a negative impact on me.
Yeah, it's messed up because that sounds incredibly fun to me.
Yeah,
it's like getting like shakes and like being like,
I mean,
like
dude,
looking through my blinds and stuff, and then I tell people, I'm like, yeah, it's actually. And by the way, interactive art experience as a character, I'm like, that's the worst drug. And they're like, why? And I'm like, because like you fucking be like heart beating so fast, and like your hands are sweating. You're like fucking looking out your front window, like who's there? And they're like, so why would you ever do it? And you're like, because it's the best by far.
It is. I mean, it's great. Don't get me wrong.
I don't know if I agree with that, but yeah.
This guy never had the good stuff. What do you want me to say?
Well,
I just used to do such dumb shit off the coke and off the other drugs I used to do. You know, there was one time I remember I had a neighbor who they fucking hated me. I don't really know why, but they had filed a complaint with the city because I lived in an HOA.
I love being, by the way, a huge cokehead and being like, I don't know why they didn't like me.
Yeah, maybe it was the tinfoil on your windows.
Cocaine inside, not. I had blankets on the windows. It wasn't tinfoil. So it was decent, but they complained about me for my lawn being too long.
I was actually about to say, were you not cutting your lawn? Because that's
hell nah. Yeah, I was not cutting my lawn. So they filed a complaint. They got fined like $150. And the night that I got the fine in the mail, I was doing coke and ketamine lines. So I was just mixing shit up, and I was just retarded. Like I was brain dead. I mean, there's a certain type of aggression that comes out of me when I put an upper and a downer inside of me, because it's like each of them are fighting in my brain, and one half of me is like, yo, I want to go to sleep, and one half of me is like, yo, let's fucking rage, like let's do 10 more lines of that, you know. So I get really irritable when I start mixing drugs like that. And I read this letter and I got so fucking livid. I ripped it up immediately, and I grabbed a piece of paper out of my drawer, and I grabbed a pen, and I wrote on this piece of paper. I just wrote the craziest. I was like, mind your fucking business. Like, you know, I was going to put it in their mailbox. So I went up, they had the mailbox slot on their door, and I was coked the fuck out of my mind. So I go up to their door, and the mailbox slot is closed. So I'm like, fuck, well, like, where do I put it? So I go back to my house, and I grab some tape, and I come back, and I fucking tape it on their door.
Are you like bumping lines between this whole mission, like coming back, getting another freshie line though?
From the time that
Is there any cigarettes in this, by the way? Is there a lit cigarette the whole time? Or
so I would switch a lot between cigarettes and just vaping. When I was geeked, you know, like sometimes I'd hit the vape, sometimes I'd smoke
the indoor and the outdoor cigarette.
Yeah. A lot of people, they were like, oh, you know, I started vaping to quit cigarettes. I started vaping to enhance the cigarettes, you know. So it was different.
I have a feeling this story's not over. Like you taped it on the door, but tell me you went back for it.
Well, I didn't go back for it to take it back. I just left it there, you know, like I taped it up, and I went and I crashed the fuck out. I just stayed in my house the rest of the night, you know, geeked up, doing whatever. The next night, I got a bang on my door, and I'm bone sober at this point. I just run on a blow, so I was like already in a shitty mood, and I look out my little peephole, and it's two of my neighbors on my door. It's the guy next door, and then the guy next door to him. So I opened the door.
Oh shit! They were like, "Yo, come with me."
They pulled up. So
they pulled up.
They pulled up. So I opened the door, and they just start like saying some crazy shit. They're like, "Well, you fuck you, like I'll beat your ass right now, dude. Like, you know, I lived in central southern Illinois, so like it's very different from like Chicago area.
Yeah.
You know, they're real Republican down there as compared to like up north. They're very you know, Hillary Clinton supporters, that kind of
They're
shit.
like the wrestling show selling out, like the wrestling show at the theater down the street.
You're in fuck around and find out territory. That's
I
where
was
you're
at this time, yeah. Now I live up by Chicago, but at the time I was, and they told me to like come outside and shit. So I was like, all right, fucking hold on. So I like go back inside, you know, I get a little bump of ketamine in me. I'm like, fuck, I'm out of coke, you know, like I can't fight in this condition, you know, and I already been drinking a little bit. So I was like, shit. So I go outside, and this dude has his like 6-year-old daughter outside, just like a part of this feud. So he's like, yo, fight.
You come out like on ketamine, like fists up, like you can't hurt me at least.
I wasn't like fist up. I was like, yeah, I came outside, and once his like daughter was there, he kind of like stopped trying to fight me, but he was just yelling at me, and I was so fucked up. I wasn't really like listening. Like I just kind of kept saying like, fuck you, dude, you know, like I wasn't really processing anything. I was like, yeah, fuck you, you know? And eventually he just kind of like quieted down a little bit. And I just went back inside my house and like forgot about it and never heard from it again. But they kept complaining about me. Like over and
you
over.
Never had to pay that $150 or
I just I probably
you let it ride.
to.
Let it ride.
Should I have? Yeah, but did I pay that shit? No.
no, you need that money to cut your lawn.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. Eventually, I did get a gardening company. Actually,
Big.
so that was big. I had to negotiate with the landlord to split it with me because the landlord wasn't down to split that shit, and I was like, I'm not fucking.
That's not your job.
You're like, this is your lawn.
I'm not paying. Yeah, this is your lawn.
This is why I rent. That's why I'm renting. I don't want to be in charge of this shit.
Yeah. But also, I mean, to be fair, she had told me when I first rented the place, she was like, yeah, I got lawn service. And then the lawn service never came. So,
you know, it's funny you mentioned like ketamine. I feel like ketamine's a very new, like when I'm a bit older, I feel like ketamine wasn't as much talked about. It was more like Coke was the more standard. But I feel like nowadays ketamine's talked about way more than it used to be. I don't know.
It's popular now.
Happened. Like, what's the difference? Like, that was not a thing. Like in my day,
it was in
my interactive experience.
It was more niche, though.
In my interactive experience, no one was really like, "Hey, you got to try ketamine." It wasn't as available as say cocaine or MDMA, you know, or ecstasy back in the day when they suppressed the pills. Now I think it's a bit different. But what's up with that? Like, what's the deal? What's so great about ketamine? Honestly,
I mean, ketamine
is it like Coke in any way, or is it completely?
No. It's a tranquilizer. Like that's the actual medical use for it.
Yeah.
And that's honestly like one of the best ways to describe it because ketamine is like, I've always said it's like two different drugs. You know, if you do a small amount of it, like a bump, it feels really nice. It's kind of like being crossfaded, you know, maybe a little bit like Molly, super euphoric, like you got a really nice body high and stuff. But if you do too much, you get K-hold. And getting K-hold is where you just lose complete control of your body. Like you won't be able to move your limbs properly. You'll like think about like, oh, I want to move my arm, but you actually just physically can't. You'll be conscious for it, but it's a very weird experience. It's literally being tranquil.
It's euphoric though. Like you feel.
Oh yeah, holy fuck, yeah. It's
great. I feel like we were making fun. I feel like people be like, "Oh, I'm doing ketamine," and be like, "What the fuck's wrong with you?" You know, like maybe 10 years ago. I feel like now it's a little more. People
what the fuck's wrong with you? Snort this white powder we bought from the same guy.
They're like, take this one instead. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the stigma around a lot of drugs is just kind of, you know, gotten a lot less nowadays. Like people don't really view drugs the same way they did 10, 20 years ago. You know, weed's legal now. Shrooms are like widely socially accepted.
Yeah, we're in the psychedelic renaissance is happening here. It really did fall off a cliff, and it at its most promising stage for stupid fucking reasons. It was literally just like political at the time.
You know, the whole, like you're saying, like, you know, you don't do like Coke, it's how not fun. That was interactive art experience as a character. That was something that I always imagined. At a younger age, you know, you like do a line and you're like, woo, yeah.
Oh, and that's how
you're like, yeah. And now you said you're like 24. Around that time, a couple years before, a couple years after, probably after, is that drug, things change. You like, instead of like snorting a line and being like, let's fucking go. You snort a line and you're like, give me a cigarette. This place fucking sucks. Let's go back to your spot. Kill this fucking bag and line up another one.
Yeah.
Maybe call some bitches.
Yep.
Insult them to their face because we can't get it up. That last part of it, obviously, it's all a joke. But yeah, no, like that's something that changes. And what's interesting, this didn't happen, but I imagine this probably happened to a person just like me. Was
in a dream
at this club out in Halifax. I saw people pulling out baggies, and a person pulled out a baggie, like a baggie of white powder, and someone came forth and they were like, "Oh, is that ketamine?" And they were like, "Oh no, it's coke." And they were like, "Oh," and they like kind of looked defeated and walked away. And I was like, that's insane, because I've never seen a person pull a baggie out in my entire life and a person be like, "Oh my God, is that what I think it is?"
Ketamine.
And they're like, "It is," and it's not this. And I'm like, people always want the coke baggie. I've seen every time you're at a party, people are like, "Is there coke here?
Yep.
Does anyone have a guy? Do you have a guy?" And like, this wasn't it. It was, people were all about the ketamine more so. And what's interesting about ketamine is it's like what you said, it'll make you feel crossfaded for sure. But what's crazy, a benefit or a bad thing about it is you get to remember and process everything. Like, you don't really forget stuff. You kind of see it and remember it. It's not like a blur like when you're wasted. It's like you feel like you're wasted and you might talk and act, but like you're conscious enough to remember everything.
You're watching
what's
it happen
what's
you.
the co-drug that goes with it? Like smoking weed? Like, is it smoking weed? Is it like, what is the drug that you team up with it to enhance?
I've heard
alcohol
for ketamine. You mean?
Yeah, for ketamine. Yeah, exactly.
I heard that this and Goblin. I mean, if you could tell me what you think about this. It was described to me as like a condiment to whatever night you're having. You could add it as a condiment, like ketchup on top of a hot dog, and depending on how much salt you want to add to your night, or whatever it is, this is that thing. So people said, some people believe, I guess, it could be added to anything.
Yeah, I mean, it's super dangerous to mix with certain things. Like alcohol is definitely a no-go. But I used to mix it with Molly. I used to mix it with Coke. It's one of those drugs where you can just do a tiny little bump of it and still feel it. It has different effects at different doses, which is something that.
Does it make you act like an idiot? Do you feel like you like? Do you you're like, oh damn, like what was?
Yeah, for sure.
Like, what was I doing?
Yeah, you definitely say weird shit.
I would say it does. An interesting thing about it is once you start doing more of it, there's definitely a disconnect between like your mental and your physical, where like your mental clarity is going to be totally fine. You're going to be thinking normally. It doesn't get you like. Thinking super crazy, maybe a little off, but mentally you're going to feel fine. But like physically, you won't be able to convey those things. Like you'll have trouble speaking. You'll have trouble,
you're chilling in the background, but
you become like town drunk.
Yeah. You're just bricked.
I do have, I had a buddy. I have a question for you. This to me, it always trips me out. I had a buddy who's big into, let's say, Coke back in the day. But he was like a marvel to me because he was somehow also extremely fat at the same time. And I find that's like the next level of drugs. Like if you can do a ton of Coke, okay, like a ton, like I'm talking like a ton, and still like the end result is fat, I'm like, wow, you're really fucking up on many ways. And I'm always like, how do you
what
do
you
it?
Mean
like,
fucking up? You're just enjoying
it
all.
No,
like
you have no limit. There's no limit. It's like I'm doing all the below that's supposed to also make me not hungry, but I'm also somehow eating.
One thing is, I mean, a lot of people who do Coke don't only do Coke. Sure. So you kind of go through cycles on that. And also, I mean, when you're geeked up, I mean, obviously you're gonna have to sleep at some points and you're gonna have to eat at some points to even be alive. When I was doing Coke, I lost a lot of weight. I lost a lot of fucking weight. I definitely gained it back after I got sober. But I lost a lot of weight when I was geeked for sure. But one of the things is like when you finally come down, let's say you binge for like, 2 days, 3 days, something like that. When you finally come down, you're gonna fuck it up, bro. You're going to make
the hunger doesn't dissipate. It builds. It builds.
Yeah.
Over
It
the
builds.
time.
Yeah,
It snowballs.
So the moment that you like go to sleep finally, or maybe you run out, your bag's empty and you can't get more or whatever, you are gonna feel that shit, bro. You're gonna feel that 2-3 days worth of hunger. And I'm telling you right now, bro, you're sliding to fucking McDonald's. You're getting 10 McChickens in that bitch. You're getting whatever it is. I mean, me and my friends, we used to stay up, all fucking night. We would stay up till like 8-9 a.m. and we would go to McDonald's and we would get like just a bag full of fucking sausage burritos and we bring it back to everyone at the crib and be like, yo, fucking eat up, dude. Like, we got to get our nutrition.
Wake up. Yo, you need this, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not cooking
Last
shit
night was a
coke.
movie. You need this.
But I mean, for that guy, I mean, I don't know. Maybe he just maybe he didn't.
You know
like,
what? He wanted too much. He wanted it all. He needed it all. He needed
Maybe.
all the.
But I also think,
all the
you know,
blow
like-
and all the food at the same time. So
No, but I also think drugs, like oftentimes it's addiction based, and eating can be the same thing.
Yep. Yep.
So if you're addicted to one thing, the chances that you're addicted to
Oh, yeah.
more than one
I'm
thing.
gonna-
Really?
Your body's
Right.
tripping when you're like, Coke day today, food day today, Coke day today,
That's your
food
calendar?
day
Yeah.
today, jerk off day.
Bring in the meth.
Throwing a couple gambling days in there, and you got it.
Oh.
You got it good.
But
So lucky I never got down with that. That's the one thing where it's like, obviously Coke, drinking, there's so many vices out there. Gambling is directly into the pocket. It's like, that's the one that'll, because even like, an addiction to Coke, you got to call up a guy who's got to come, or you got to go to him, and then you
gotta
do
do
it,
something.
and then your brain hurts, and there's a downtime. Like gambling, there's no downtime. Direct into the wallet, siphoning your money, and you
Yep.
can hide
Not
it
just
so
that.
easily. You can hide it. People like, when you're on Coke, people are like, I think you're having a hard time. Gambling, like, you can't even tell. You
Yeah,
can't
and
even tell what
also
Coke's doing.
when
like,
you're
I-
addicted to Coke or when you're on drugs, like you're probably sort of, like you said, your heart's fucked up. You're panicking about it, but you keep doing it anyways.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like
You could-
drugs kind of only take, but gambling gives sometimes, which is even more
Yeah.
insidious. Because it's like, okay, you're always giving into the drugs, giving into the food, but the fucking gambling, sometimes you'll have a good day and you'll be able to convince yourself that you're actually doing a good thing.
No, the food,
Yep.
the food gives for about 5 minutes, and you're like, oh shit, I just fucked up.
Yeah.
that whole
Gives-
pizza is felt really
Right.
good. You're in a euphoric state, and then you're like,
But
oh,
20
yeah.
grand,
You're
like
fuck.
20 grand
That
on
was,
the
a bad, that was
fucking...
a bad call. It was good in the moment, but now I need ice cream. You know?
And you've had to experience microdosing mushrooms.
I have, yeah. So a couple months ago, I was microdosing like pretty much every day. I've gotten really into shrooms. When I was younger, I didn't like them. My first shroom trip, I ate like 4 grams.
Wow.
One of my friends,
Wow.
Crazy.
one of my friends who took them like every day. I asked him, I was like, "Yo, how many should I take my first time?" He's like, "Bro, 4 grams, like perfect dose, And I just,
Yeah.
I was just like,
Bad
for
press,
sure.
man.
So I
4
took
grams.
4
How old
grams.
were you?
I was 16.
Six.
No, actually, I might have been 17 at this
4 grams, 16, 17 is enough to be like, me, am I going to be retarded forever?
Oh,
Yeah,
was.
literally.
I was
Literally.
tweaking. I remember we the worst part of it too is we didn't have like any plan or anything to do. We were literally just riding around in my friend's car. So like I was just sitting in the backseat of a car for pretty much the entirety of this trip.
Yo,
Yeah.
that is
We
how
would-
does someone who's driving. Are they on shrooms?
Yes.
Like, are they looking
So-
in the rear view and there's like a 16-year-old first time on 4 grams of shrooms in the back rear view mirror?
Everyone in the
Like,
car was tripping at different levels. So, I was definitely
Okay.
the most out of it. I had another friend in shotgun who was tripping, but, handling himself. And then we assigned the driver based off who was tripping the least. So
Worst plan.
we took
ever.
different doses. We didn't all take 4.
Where are you at
So-
now? Where are you at now with a macro dose? Like, so you microdosed every day?
Um,
which is what, like a 0.2, 0.3? Do you
I would
weigh
take
it?
like a 0.5 usually.
Okay, so that's a bit more than a microdose is like supposed to be.
It depends on it. I've had micro.
That's how I do it too. I
but
rarely
mine
take less
to
than that.
not be like, I think I'm a little in the weird place. Like it could be like 0.3.
Yeah.
Yep.
Easily, but then there were times where like I've gone to 0.5 and I didn't feel it. Then other times I've taken like a 0.25 and been like, how is it getting weird today? It's not supposed to.
So
sometimes
what
it
is
really
the
tickles.
dark-
But hold on. I sorry, I just wanted to know where you at now with a macro dose. Like if you actually want a trip, what do you take?
Probably like 2.5 grams is my sweet spot. 2 to 2.5.
That's good.
I've always thought, like, you know, after I got back into shrooms a couple years ago, I realized, like, damn, that 4-gram dose is too much. You know, like that's really sending it.
It's that's tiring. That's like, do you want to like?
That's
Do you want to feel different about life after this? Or you just trying to chill and have a laugh with your buddies?
Yeah, and I used to do a lot of acid, so for me it was like you know, the switch over to shrooms. I enjoyed the mellowness of it. You know, the trip is much different. It's much more relaxing. I was
always scared off of it because back in the day, a buddy of ours jumped out of the second story on a bunch of mushrooms, and I was like, I don't know that. Like he lived, he's fine, but
yeah,
he was just tripping balls, and
So what's the problem?
I was like, I don't know, man. I was like, I don't want to feel that out of control where I'm in a place where I that's a decision that
I was never gonna do that. I was never gonna do that.
I've taken 7 grams.
I've been sorry.
I sat calmly with my friends around a fire and like was able to like talk and walk around and know what was going on, even though I was literally breaking apart and being sprinkled into the universe.
I've been in this scenario.
I was me.
I've been in this scenario. Been like, you can't drive.
Oh,
like I've been like, but I'm just saying like that. Like so, like I wouldn't be like, you can't drive. But we could take the window. I was never at that place. But I have been like looking in the mirror and been like, I am the ugliest I've ever been in my life.
Oh, the mirror is dangerous.
We made it a game. It was like, don't look in the mirror. But then you're going into piss and you like don't want to look in the mirror, but you're like, let me see him. Let me see him.
That's the good thing when.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
I was going to ask, what's the microdosing of someone who was scared as a teenager to never really go near the mushrooms? It seems like the popular conversation is sort of like cannabis is finally here. The next step is like, let's take
we're on the next one now. If you're
the next one is psilocybin is like
we're on ketamine now.
Now ketamine's next, right? But
now it's ketamine.
I'm behind.
Yeah,
therapeutic ketamine is big.
Ketamine is not just that. You got those young, sexy Hollywood execs pulling up to the production meetings on a little bump of ketamine. Okay. That's where what's
the benefit? Now. Why what's that doing for me?
Mental breakthroughs, new ideas, creative concepts that are way outside the box. You might not, but you might be like, I got the best idea for a movie. But
it's like.
But what about the microdosing mushrooms? Like, what is the? You're just a bit happier? Is it like kind of taking like?
There's who wants to field this one.
Well, we might all have different reasons, but I had a reason. But I want to hear Goblins.
Yeah, let's hear.
I mean, for me, it's definitely like mood enhancement. I just feel generally like I'm in a better mood. You know, I can focus more on shit. For me, I've always had a hard time focusing. You know, I used to take hella Adderall in high school. I was prescribed it. So, with the microdosing, I feel like I was more productive. Like I could get more shit done. I felt better. I was more clear-minded. Microdosing, like, it's great, dude. It's great. Honestly, you should give it a try sometime.
Exact same. By the way, for me, the same thing. Almost identical to everything you said. That's what I read about it. That's what I heard about it. I actually didn't believe it because I was familiar with macro doses of mushrooms. And then I did it. And then I realized that I was being like a meeting extender. So at the end of the day, Lynch, you don't even need it, because you're already extending those meetings. But like, I would be like, people would be like, all right, so that's cool. And I'd be like, one more thing though. I want to lay out a couple things. I want to handle it. And like, normally I'm just like, okay. But in these scenarios, I was more engaged, willing to engage, and kind of like just doing those extra bits that maybe I would inside my head be whiny about, you know? But I hardly did every day. I would do like every second day, and I would take off weekends.
Yeah,
because I was doing coke those other days.
I find when I try to do every day, usually by day 3 or 4, I kind of feel like I don't need it anymore, and I'll just naturally sort of take a few days off
because you're riding the wave of it a bit, right?
Yeah, like
that too. That's why I did the second day,
and then something will happen where I'll sort of hit a wall and realize, oh, I know why I'm hitting a wall. I haven't taken this shit in 6 days, and like then I'll nibble a bit more. But I had a weird experience. I've never had this before. I never realized before, but stamina. I took a 0.4 just on a sunny summer day and was like, I'm going to go for a bike ride. And I took a 0.4 and I rolled the joint and brought it with me. And I biked to like a waterfront and smoked the joint, and shit started getting a little wavy in my vision even. And I was like, oh boy, it's like more than I thought. So I get back on the bike and I realized that my legs became invincible. And I bike this route all the time. I know the spots I get tired. I know where the hill is. I went up the hill and didn't even feel, my legs felt numb almost. And I was like, holy shit, this is like performance enhancing level 2. Because I ended up, I'm not even exaggerating, I think I ended up biking for about 7 or 8 hours that day. I just didn't go home. I just kept looping and looping.
How good was jerking off when you got home? Tripped out and exhausted.
Dude.
You're probably tugging like... I don't know why I did that.
And then as soon as I nutted, all the fatigue of the 8-hour ride kicked in, and I went into a K-hole at that point. Then I woke up and ate fucking 10 cheeseburgers.
You were in a gum hole. You put yourself in a gum hole from gooning.
Gooning a boomer. Macrodose, I'm at the point I actually stopped for years. So I think the first time we did it, I was 15.
Because we did it and that guy was choking in the room with us.
Yes.
We did it. The guy was like, guys, I need water. Like, imagine you were at that point where you're like, Mommy, am I gonna be like this forever? Like, you're on that level of mushrooms, and like one of your boys next to you, and he's like, I can't breathe. I need water. And we were all like, we're gonna get it. We're gonna get it.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think between 16 and 20, I did it a bunch until that night where a dude did that in front of me, and it put it in my head that if I eat mushrooms, I will puke, and I didn't touch them.
And I from my experience, I was like, every day I want to see him gag.
Most of my friends kept doing it. I stopped until I was like 32, and then I started taking 0.6, 0.7. Till eventually I was like, let me take a small dose, and it accidentally hit me really hard. And I was like, oh no, the full experience. And then I realized, I was like, what have I been running from? This is fucking beautiful.
Yep. Those are the best trips, honestly.
Yeah. And then I worked my way up to the point where I was taking 3.5, 4.5, 5.5, 7.
Hell yeah.
And once I got to, and then I was like, you know what? After eating 7, I was like, 3.5's actually, I find after 3.5, it's a bit of a diminishing return in terms of just, the disconnection is so, it's like, what the fuck are you at that point? It's like a death.
My concern's always I'm a bit of a neurotic type person who will be thinking about things or worrying about this, worrying about that. I always worry about something like acid or mushrooms that I wouldn't be able to control my
There's
thinking. I wouldn't be able to, I might, a negative thought might seep into my brain and then fuck everything up the rest of the time. That's how I envisioned it in my head, that something insidious, like something bad.
Yeah, you just don't do it.
Sometimes it could be like that off acid, but shrooms, no. I mean, shrooms, you just kind of got to let it happen, you know?
Yeah.
You're just vibing.
You guys are way chiller than
I would avoid it, yeah. I would avoid it if you're thinking like that. Never, there's not ever a reason to force it or get pressure.
Yeah.
I feel like I had so many bad trips. I got to a place in life where I got so good at getting on top of it because I'm not I've been in public places and I'm like, I've cringed at myself so much.
You like to get scared.
That's just,
you're gonna get scared,
I feel like I've had just such a chunk of life with so many responsibilities and quote unquote power in scenarios. I like to feel powerless now, and some people choose getting pegged, and I choose getting completely petrified in a public place on drugs. obviously as a character. In
That's a better way to do it.
Hyperactive experience. Yeah. Well, I don't know if it's better, but it's just for me. Or more so, that one's not for me that much. I saw your latest video. By the way, guys, a Goblin on YouTube, Nick's channel.
An hour and 12 minutes in.
Yeah, because I want to wrap it up. I want to wrap it up soon, and then I get cold sweats and fever dreams and nightmares. And I'm like, did I ask the guest if they got something to promote at the end? But I did want to talk before all that. I wanted to talk. You had a video here, and I didn't get the chance to watch your most recent one that you bought 2CB.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Was that your first time doing it?
So I didn't actually end up taking it. I bought some 2CB. I was going on the deep web a couple of years ago, back when I was still doing coke. My coke dealer went to jail for some super fucked up shit. He was gone, so I was getting shit online, and I had gotten some tabs of acid that I had gotten from the same guy before. They were great, and I had a little bit of money left over, so I was like, well, fuck, I'll buy something else with it. So I was looking around and I found these 2CB gel tabs, and I had never done 2CB. I didn't have any friends who did 2CB, but I had a couple, like friend of a friend kind of things who had done it before that I wanted to talk to you about it. So I was like, fuck it. I'll just buy a 10 strip of it, see where it goes. So I bought it, got it shipped to me. And then once I got it shipped to me, I dropped the acid, and I was like checking out the 2CB, and I ended up going online while I was tripping and reading some like Reddit threads, about people's 2CB
about research chemicals.
Yeah. And it was like, of course, whenever you Google like a certain drug and then Reddit, you're going to get like horror stories, bro. You're going to get like people's terrible ass experiences, 8 out of 10 results. So I'm reading these stories and I'm like, oh my God. While I'm tripping, and I'm like, holy shit. That sounds horrible. Like, this is making my head fucked up right now. So I'm reading these and I close them all out, and I'm like, fuck that, go about the rest of my trip, have a great time. Some time goes by where I don't do the 2CB, and I end up taking it with me when I drive back up to Chicago to see a couple of my friends. And I ask all my homies, I'm like, yo, who wants to do the 2CB with me? No one wants to do this fucking 2CB with me. And I'm like, well, I already bought this shit, but I'm still kind of tweaking about it because that acid trip was stuck in my head where I was reading those threads, and I was like, bro, like, am I gonna have like a flashback? Am I gonna have like a fucking a bad trip, like, because of that shit? So I was kind of tweaking about it, and I ended up just throwing the shit away.
Crazy.
Oh wow.
So yeah, it was the first time I'd ever done that with a drug.
Hide it in a bush. You didn't want to hide it in a bush and tweet it out.
I mean, I've done that
geocache
with
it.
I've done that with weed hella times, but I think once I start doing that with hard drugs is when someone's going to intervene.
You're asking for trouble.
Or a child.
Yeah, I don't really find out who. Yeah, if a child finds out, that would be bad too. If they find the weed, I don't care.
I'm curious. Like, your content is, it's a pretty bold move to put the stuff you put out there online. What was the decision in that when you started doing it? Like,
I mean, I've been doing this kind of content since I was super young, and when I started making this kind of content, I was I just kind of didn't give a shit. I was just making YouTube videos. I never expected anyone to see it. I had
crazy thing about being young, like that's before our era. We didn't have that opportunity to like maybe make that decision, but you grew up at a time where that was possible, where you could upload.
Yeah,
I had a pager.
If you wanted to. Yeah.
I started making YouTube videos when I was like 13, so 12 or 13. So I was making like Call of Duty fucking tips and tricks and shit. Yeah. And then eventually
I got a story for you.
I kept making those videos, and then I smoked weed for the first time, and I was like, well, I'm out of ideas for Call of Duty. I'm gonna just talk about this. And I posted that shit, and it got like 1,000 views, and I was like, holy shit, this is awesome. And then I like didn't really upload much for a while. Didn't have many viewers or subscribers or anything. Went and like did my degenerate shit as like a freshman, sophomore in high school. Came back to uploading a lot because I still enjoyed doing it. And I ended up getting a following, and my channel was monetized for a long time.
That's crazy.
So I was getting ad revenue.
Like what era of YouTube is that you're getting monetized for that type of content?
I just got demonetized like 4 months ago.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
What do you do now? You make money on Twitch?
Well, I do Twitch, merch, sponsorships. I do some different stuff.
How do they let you know?
So,
They're like, you're.
They just emailed me and they said, "See ya." They're just like, your partner
Did they
account's
give you a
been
reason? Did you
deactivated.
talk to anyone? Did they say anything? To you? Or it's just like,
I didn't speak to anyone. I don't have a contact at Google.
you're like, you're right. I get it.
So-
I understand. But that sucks, dude. That's
Yeah, I mean, it's not something that I'm like losing my mind over. You know, it's something that I honestly was surprised didn't happen sooner. So
Me too.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah,
Fair
I'm
enough.
surprised.
Yeah.
I'm not.
I
I'm
disagree with it, but I'm also like,
Yeah,
oh, it's good
yeah,
that it
I
went for
disagree
so
with
long,
it as
at least.
well. But you know, I mean, I'm thankfully at the point where I'm able to continue like paying my bills and stuff off my other sources of income, so I'm not like too worried about it. But it does suck that ad revenue. That shit is sweet.
I mean,
So-
yeah, YouTube does it the best, or has
That shit
Yeah,
is
we
sweet.
had a couple
Yeah.
of our things demonetized incorrectly for whatever reasons, and it's kind of tricky to fight back on. So we're like, okay, whatever. But
Yeah,
it sucks
it's
a little bit
crazy.
losing that. But where's you still upload on YouTube though? On YouTube,
Yeah.
on Goblin on YouTube. And what's your Twitch?
GBLN 420. I stream a lot.
Goblin 420, but with no
Yes,
O
sir.
or I. Let
Yep.
me hit you with a follow on that, actually.
Appreciate it. Yeah, we just get high on there.
Yeah, I see you getting
Twitches.
playing some Vice City.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, there were times where I'll like be like so blazed 3 a.m. playing some nonsense game, and then I'll be like, oh, I forgot that there's people here. Like I was totally like in the game, and I was doing something ugly, like trying to like think up
Yep.
what
Cleaning up the
dialogue
camera and
option,
shit.
what dialogue option I want to choose, and I'm like,
I'll get real into it when my eyes will like go lazy and shit.
yeah.
I'll be like, fuck.
Well, you know, you're pretty lucky that you don't do any of those nose drugs. Those things change people's lives. Fuck,
They
them
really
up.
do.
And,
Yeah.
you know, also
we're not promoting drug use over here.
Also, a lot of drug users I know, they don't put together such coherent sentences as you do, nor are they such great storytellers. I think no matter what you talk about, I think when you got the drug thing going there and you were like, whoa, 1,000 views, you could probably talk about a lot of things that people would want to listen to. Yeah, it's a nice
I
having you on.
appreciate that. Thank
it's
you.
definitely great
Thank you
having
guys
you
for
on here.
having me. It
Hell
was,
yeah, dude.
It was very fun.
I'd like to have you back.
Me
This
too.
was a
I would
fucking
like to have
good
you back.
episode.
I would like to have you back also.
Yeah,
I don't
I'm
know why
down.
you could stay at my house if you ever want to come to Montreal.
Bet.
You could stay at my house.
Once I get a passport, I'll
Get
DM
that
you.
passport, yeah. And actually, you know what? Like, you know, you bring the lady down. I got some Rex for you guys if you're ever in town, you know. But like,
Wonderful.
I got you. You know.
I like that. I appreciate
Yeah.
that. Same goes to you if you're ever in Chicago. But
No, but I'm
actually,
not saying
moving,
some
so-
bullshit like you are. Like I mean it. You can come and stay at my house. and
Well, you could stay at
we'll
my
get
crib. I have an
ripped.
extra bedroom.
We're
you
gonna
know?
tear up some Pequods. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yo,
we
I'm
can-
gonna go
But-
to your house and just
but
wait out that.
we have
lake.
a problem though. I'm moving out of Chicago in 2 months.
Where are we
Where are you
going?
going?
Where am I coming?
LA.
Oh shit!
Wow.
where
Demonetize my ass.
yeah.
Where are you living out there? Unless you don't want to dox yourself.
I'm going to the valley, so
Cool. That's fun.
What
I
Trying
mean,
to
it's
stay
hard for people, but like a lot of places are weird out there.
Yeah.
Is it for like
That's
content,
exciting.
like work and content purposes, or just
content
switching it up?
100%.
You guys doing what you
the
doing
whole-
like a hype house thing, but everyone's getting fucked up.
No, I'm getting my
microdosing
own
every
place and
day?
everything, but probably still going to be microdosing every day. But it's mainly just content. I mean, the whole weed industry is in California and
Yeah.
out there. So I travel out there so much already just to film podcasts and shit. I might as well go out there.
I'm definitely
Um,
coming to stage your place.
So yeah, it's gonna be fun. Pull up. Hopefully there won't be any tweakers outside.
yeah.
So
No, we'll be inside.
yeah, exactly. We'll be inside locked door. They'll be chilling out there.
All right, my man Nick Goblin. Thanks for coming on, brother. And
Yep,
everyone
appreciate
else,
it.
you know, leave a comment or a rating, a review. Tell your friend about the podcast. I mean, if you like it, you don't have to. No pressure. Shout out Donnie Duckett's holding it down also.
Yes, sir.
Lynch. Okay, bye, guys. Peace.